Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's so easy with Anchor.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. We struggled to find the right way to distribute our podcast, and Anchor made it quick, easy, and free. We're on platforms we had never heard of, and that's all thanks to Anchor doing the hard work.
So, if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast, head on over to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome back to Spilling the Mad Tea. I'm Caitlin, and I'm joined by Kelly, Stephanie, and Rachel. Hi, ladies. Hey. Stephanie, how are you doing?
Good. It is Earth Day today as we are recording. So I've been spending my day listening to Animal Kingdom music and Pocahontas music. It's been really fun. Been a good Earth Day. How about you, Kelly?
I've also been good. I took my reusable shopping bags and reusable produce bags, and I went grocery shopping today. And then I came home and did some little Disney characters on a painting that I'm working on. So that was fun. What about you, Rachel?
I just worked. It was pretty good. Normal day for me. I did find out that I'm available to work at Walgreens for another 2 years, so that's really nice. And
yay, you can keep that money coming in.
Yas. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Mostly the only Earth Day thing I did was look at my quote for the day, and it was real cute. So that's the most Earth Day thing that happened to me today.
What was your quote?
My quote was, hold please. I will find it. Okay, my quote was, "The earth has music for those who listen."
Beautiful.
I love that. How appropriate for today.
Totally seems like something that would be on the painted on the wall at
I was just about to say, it sounds like a Living with the Land quote.
Yeah.
Katie, how was your day?
So I actually had a really exciting day at work. As most of our listeners know, I'm a zookeeper. I've been working with one of our tigers on a couple of different behaviors, and today we just had a really good training session where we were very in tune with each other, and everything went textbook perfect, exactly the way it needed to. So I just had a really good day professionally and personally.
Way to go.
So good Earth Day all around.
How has the rest of your week been?
So we have all had a very busy week. We launched our podcast this week.
Woo-hoo! Yay! Which means you are listening to us. Yay!
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's been kind of nuts. We've I feel like I've had to charge my phone at least once or twice a day, responding to everything on, Instagram, and we're so grateful for everybody that's listened or commented or just responded to anything we've put out there into the universe. We did not expect the response we've gotten so far, and we are so happy.
But don't stop. Keep telling your friends about us and keep interacting with us, because I feel like we've already made friends this week, which is kind of crazy that we're bonding in this crazy social media universe over Disney, and it's something that transcends through data lines and computers and cell phones, and I feel like we're making some real connections with people out there in the world, and it's really cool.
It's magical.
It is. It's the Disney of magic.
We thought we had anticipated everything that we needed to anticipate for this podcast. We spent about a year preparing for the release of this podcast, from just discussing the logistics of everything to creating these episodes for you guys. And one thing we never anticipated was how involved we would get with other fans and how we would make friendships with people on the internet. So it's been a really special experience for us.
I don't think that we also realized how quick it would grow. Within a couple of days, it was just so many people.
It's really cool. We're very humbled and honored and grateful that you've tuned in for another episode here.
So today's episode is a very special one for me because we're celebrating Earth Day today. As a zookeeper, conservation is the air I breathe. It's my passion, it's my job, my hobby, and sometimes my constant soapbox. We're spilling the green tea today as we discuss the monumental effort that the Walt Disney Company is making towards conservation, how you can spot those efforts in the parks, and what you guys can do at home to help preserve Earth and all of its living beings. So, I don't know how much you guys know about Earth Day. Not many people know a lot about the origins of Earth Day. Kelly, have you ever heard anything about how Earth Day came to be?
No, I mean, I knew that Earth Day was the day to celebrate the Earth, but yeah, I don't know where it came from or how it came to be. Earth Day is for the Earth. That is as much as I know, and it's Animal Kingdom's birthday. So yeah, I don't know. That's all I know.
That's about all I know too.
Not many people are aware of the origins of Earth Day. It's a recently founded holiday, so it's not something that's been around for centuries. But in my opinion, it's one of the most impactful. Earth Day was established as a grassroots campaign on college campuses in 1970 as a day to educate the public about issues impacting the environment. It's now celebrated across the world and has expanded into a Green Week, where participants focus on ways they can reduce their environmental impact and change the world for the better. Stephanie, you participated in something on this Green Week.
Yeah, so I kind of celebrated Earth Day a little early, and last weekend I went out along the Jersey Shore with a group called Clean Ocean Action based in New Jersey, and lots of people came out to do this statewide beach sweep. They do it twice a year, and so it happened to fall on last Saturday, which was a very rainy, gloomy day, but lots of people still turned out and went and picked up buckets and just spent a few hours picking up some trash on the beach, getting ready for the summer. So it was really nice to be able to give back to like the beaches that give a lot to us, and to protect the marine life and, keep our planet a little cleaner.
That's really all it takes is just a little bit of time, just a couple hours out of your life every couple weeks. If everyone did that, can you imagine the change we could do?
Right. And so like I started cleaning up the beaches last summer because I had gone to Bali the previous winter and was astounded by the amount of trash on the beach and in the oceans there. It's this tiny little island in Indonesia that's really heavily influenced by like marine tourism. People go there to snorkel and scuba dive and learn to surf. And the beach was disgusting. Well, one of the beaches. I guess it had rained a lot and all of this. It was the rainy season. And all of the trash from the villages kind of washes down into the coastline. And walking out into the water, with each step I took, I think probably 5 pieces of garbage would brush along your legs, like every single step you took. And we went scuba diving, and you're just trying to like look out for sea turtles and sharks and cool marine life, but you're also distracted by all of the plastic floating around you. So after seeing that, I realized that like it's not a problem where I live, really. Like there's not that much garbage. We have great recycling here in the United States, but it is a problem in other parts of the world. And I know that our plastic here can end up anywhere in our oceans. So it's become something that's important to me, and it's so easy to make an impact because all of us like to take walks along the beach. And so if you just bring a bag and some gloves and pick up some trash along your way, it's a great way to just make a small drop in the big ocean.
And there's so many other ways to help out. You don't have to be on the beach every week picking up trash. You can just help raise awareness. There's so many people that don't realize that these issues that we're facing are huge. We're facing mass extinctions. We're facing a crisis when it comes to our garbage, our trash. So when we're able to learn better, we can do better. So let's talk about how Disney's doing better.
What are they doing, Katie?
So Disney's always been in the conservation game. Walt believed that conservation was the job of many, not the job of one. So when Animal Kingdom was founded, the Disney Conservation Fund was also founded. This fund was founded in 1995 and has donated more than $65 million to conservation programs. And that's spanning across 115 different countries. That's half the countries in the world. And this was something that was created at the inception of Animal Kingdom.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't something that came along as like an afterthought.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that was something that has been there all along.
Yeah, everything about Animal Kingdom was geared towards conservation and creating this message. Animal Kingdom is a story, is a fantasy land, but it's a fantasy land that we're living in. It's these things that are actually happening, and it's subliminally all over the park. Kelly, I think you sent me an Instagram post from Joe Rohde this week.
Yeah, I did. I think he posted it yesterday, I believe. And he, if you don't know who Joe Rohde is, he basically kind of came up with the whole concept of Animal Kingdom, and he's very active in that park. And I think this past week he was doing like a dinner and talk kind of thing at Tiffin's, I believe. So you could go pay for dinner and listen to him talk, which that would be fantastic to go to.
How great would that be?
That would be amazing. That's probably a Disney bucket list thing for
Absolutely.
sure.
That's a life bucket list.
Yeah. So his post yesterday, kind of going back to what we were talking about, was kind of the evidence of recycling in specifically the Harambe village. They looked to take recycled oil drums and make them into roofs and doors, and handmade bicycles from scavenged metal. I'm pulling quotes from his post. He loves to repurpose things. So, and that's what they do in Africa. And you can really see that. And I don't think you can find a more authentic theme park experience than going through Africa and Asia in Animal Kingdom. There's nothing like it out there, because so much thought was put into recycling, reusing what they possibly can, and sourcing these things directly from that country, and conserving that culture and that way of life, and giving that experience to people who might not be able to actually travel to that country and learn about those things, but to come to Animal Kingdom and learn why these things are important.
Yeah, the amount of thought that was put into Animal Kingdom, every step that you take in that park, there's something that's promoting that message, that's getting that across. It's not just a theme park, it's an immersion truly into these different cultures where life is different. It's not like in the US. We rarely reuse anything. Shoes break and we throw them out. Like, we don't repair, we don't continue using these things, and it's just not like that in other places, and Animal Kingdom really reflects that.
Definitely. Yeah, it's another quote from his post is he says, "The further away you get from mainstream culture of consumption, the less, unless there is a concept of anything you would call trash." So yeah, it's basically saying that in other countries, what we would call trash and kind of cast aside, these people are reusing this as much as they possibly can. He says, if it's burnable, it's fuel. If it's plastic, it's waterproof, which is so true. The culture of throwing away plastic as soon as you use it is so bad. I mean, take your milk jugs, poke some holes in the lid, and make it a watering can for your garden. Like, there's simple things you can do to keep reusing and recycling these things that you use every day.
It's kind of like what I was always taught when I was growing up. It's like one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Definitely.
Like, it's so true.
Yeah.
If you can't reuse it, someone else can.
Mm-hmm.
So donate it. Find a facility. We use what people would consider trash for toys for animals. So find somewhere to send that trash to. And if you absolutely can't, recycle that trash.
Yeah.
So the Disney Conservation Fund has a lot of initiatives. One main one is that they support Reverse the Decline collaborations. These are collaborations with international and local conservation partners to stabilize and increase the populations of some animals. They have 10 focus categories: apes, butterflies, coral reefs, cranes, elephants, monkeys, rhinos, sea turtles, sharks and rays, and tigers. These are all animals that you guys have heard of. These are not animals in this country that there's 3 or 4 of. These are real. These are animals that could disappear within our lifetime. So the Disney Conservation Fund is really working to keep those animals around.
Yeah, and if you go to the Disney Conservation Fund website, they have this really cool feature where they have a map of the world, and you can like zoom in on different areas and see where the money is going and which projects it's going to. And so you can see that like they're saving the sea turtles off Costa Rica. I think that was one of them. Or yeah, it's really cool to see like exactly what
where their efforts are going. We're going to be posting the links to a lot of the places where we pulled some of our information and a lot of the websites for these foundations. So you guys are more than welcome to do some extra research on your own, find out more about these. I will always be available to have a conversation about conservation. So reach out to us. The buttons that you see at Animal Kingdom, those are Disney Conservation Fund buttons. The fun ones that they ask you to donate like $1 at the cash register.
I was gonna say, I like one of the first times I went to the park, and you like see all these people with these like rectangular buttons on, and you're like, "Who are you? Like, what does that button mean? It's not like a regular like round. I'm celebrating. It's my birthday. It's like, wait, what is that? How do I get one of those? I feel left out. I don't have one of those buttons. How do I get one of those buttons?" And you're like just searching for a way to like be involved, and like it's an easy way to do. You just have to go to any cash register and buy one for $1, and you too get to look like a good person to the rest of the park goers in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I feel like I used to get asked at every quick service location, like if I wanted to donate and get this button. But with the addition of mobile ordering now, this past trip that I took in March, I didn't get asked, and I didn't actually see them out anywhere to purchase. So is it something that you have to ask? I guess you just go ask a cast member at the cashier or at the quick service locations, which I kind of feel like might be losing some of the its presence in the park. Maybe did anybody else kind of experience that, or was that just me?
I didn't see it. I didn't see any of them.
That's so weird to me that you guys say that, because when I went in February, they were everywhere still. Actually, in February, one of the cast members and I started talking about conservation because I'm me, and we were talking about the conservation buttons, because every time I make a purchase in Animal Kingdom, I probably have 100 buttons because I can't say no. Like, yeah, absolutely, I'll give $1. One of the cast members informed me that actually the Disney Conservation Fund matches your donation.
Yeah.
So if you donate $5 on that button, they're going to donate $5. I was asked every time I checked out at merchandise.
That's so crazy.
I don't remember quick service or not. I don't really recall, but I know every merchandise shop I went to, even if I wasn't purchasing something, if I was pin trading, they asked if I wanted to.
I wonder if they took it out of the food locations.
I feel like it slowed down the quick service lines,
Maybe.
and they took it out of the quick service.
I didn't do any shopping in Animal Kingdom, so that may be why I didn't see it, because I only ate there. I didn't really shop too much.
Well, we all know I'm a shopaholic, so I saw many a button.
Yeah, I guess that's something I need to be more conscious of, because I very clearly remember being in line at Flame Tree Barbecue, and as they were asking me my order, they do you want to donate and get this button? And Jerry and I both did it, of course, but that was probably a couple years ago, and yeah, they didn't stand out to me anywhere that I went. We walked through multiple merchandise shops. I spent a lot of time in the Pandora gift shop, and I didn't see them. So maybe if it was just me not looking for them, but definitely the next time I go, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for those, because I do like to donate to that. Yeah, I did know that they matched the donation, which is fantastic.
I'm going to like to think that they sold out, and that's why you didn't see them, because so many people were donating.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Yeah.
By the time you went, I had donated so
Katie
much.
bought all the buttons.
All the buttons were
You
gone.
just swept through and gotten them all.
Yeah, I had gone the week before, and so all the buttons were
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, so if anybody goes and wants to buy a button and there's not any, you can't find them, Katie was probably just there.
I mean, yeah.
Still go ask about them. Still go do that. And I think can you donate whatever you would like, or is there a certain?
Yes.
Okay, so
you can donate whatever you'd like. They ask typically for $1. I don't know if that's like the minimum donation for them to like put it on the cash register.
Yeah,
but they ask for $1, but you can donate more than that.
Perfect. So yeah, it's whatever you're comfortable matching, and you get a cool button. So who doesn't want that?
Yeah. Usually Cameron and we take cash out when we go to Disney because it helps control my spending. So like if we pay for a $20 bill and it's like a $15 item, we'll put whatever the change is towards DCF when we're at Animal Kingdom.
Perfect. Yeah. So you're not jingling around with a bunch of change. And
yeah, because I hate change and it falls out. So you don't want that.
And if you get a button, wear it proud so that you can positively peer pressure other guests to go get them too.
Absolutely. Even if you didn't buy it on that trip, put that sucker on.
Yeah.
show it off, put it on at the other parks. Like that is such a great way that Disney's come up with for guests to get involved with conservation.
Yeah, when you're standing in line for Flight of Passage, loudly talk about your conservation button and make everybody else want one.
Absolutely. You won't annoy anybody by talking about conservation for the whole 3-hour wait. I definitely don't know from experience.
Oh, God.
Well, let's talk about some of the ways that the company itself is going to reduce its environmental impact in the future. So we're going to put a link on Facebook, but Disney just released their 2018 Corporate Social Responsibility Report. In this report, it details all the ways that they're looking to reduce emissions, waste, and water, and how they're increasing their volunteer hours and their healthy living initiative. By 2020, their goals are to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50%. That's a huge number for a corporation as big as Disney.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And they'd like to achieve a 60% waste diversion by 2020 as well. Again, these are I can't even fathom a company saying that they want to meet these goals. Like, it's ridiculous. There's no way it's going to happen.
But they're on track.
Target
Yeah.
for these goals. Yeah. They're on target for every goal that they have set. Their water consumption goals for 2020 was to maintain the water consumption level of 2013. If you think about it, think about how much has been added to the park since 2013.
That's insane.
You have so many expansions that have happened, just insane amount. And like, water, you're like, okay, well, how does that impact water? Water is in everything. You got to have water to clean stuff. You got to have water to run the bathrooms. You got to have water to run the pumps on the rides. Like, water is everywhere. To maintain the same level as 2013, having added all of that, that doesn't mean that they're not going to use water in these things. They're just going to reuse as much water as they can, and they're going to filter and clean and try to not waste any water. Those goals for 2020 to keep the water consumption down have already been achieved in 2018.
That's awesome. Even with adding that huge waterfall in Pandora and all the other water stuff and water features and the water ride and I just keep going back to Pandora.
Exactly. They added a water ride and they still kept their consumption levels to 2013. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, I wonder where they're offsetting it. Maybe they're shooting off the Epcot fountain a little less often.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, it ain't getting anybody else soaking wet.
I was just thinking that the fountain, I haven't seen like a big fountain show. You used to see them like once an hour. I don't even know if they do them anymore. And if they do, like, it's not regularly.
It wasn't something I noticed
a ton
this past year.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very proud to support a company that is meeting those kind of huge goals. In 2018, the Walt Disney Company had 600,000 volunteer hours. That's from employees within the company.
Wow.
That's employees given of their own time. When I was a CP, there still is a volunteers, like Mickey Ears program.
It's a pun.
And it's so funny. And at my location, I think it was about every month, maybe every month or so, there'd be a sign up for a different event. And you would just sign up for it and you'd go, they'd give you that day off and you'd go do a volunteer project. And this was something like Disney's encouraging you to do it. They're giving you that day off. They're doing the proactive work. All you have to do is say, yeah, I'll be there. So they're making it easy for their employees to participate in that volunteer work. Their goal for 2020 is 5 million hours.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I think they'll get it though. Like, I don't think that's...
And they're on track for it. Like, they're like right on target for that goal.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I can't even like imagine what 5 million hours is. I probably could do the math and figure out what it is, but that's a lot.
I cannot even fathom.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about how if everybody just gave an hour or two out of their day once a week or once a month, like how much change that would make. Think about just the impact that this company is making with those volunteer hours that they are encouraging their employees to participate in.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I know Disney gets a lot of flack for a lot of different things, but you cannot deny these numbers and these that's such a hard word to say. You can't deny the facts that are there, that they are making a difference, even in the parks and in the world. Like it's there. It's always there.
One of their other topics on their social responsibility report is healthy living. And when I was reading this report, I had no idea what that meant. But it's focused on what they're promoting for like nutrition. Are they burgers and fries all the time everywhere? Like, is that what they're pushing, or are they pushing healthier things? And you can already see in the parks, like there's healthier options.
Definitely.
I have not eaten meat in 2 years. I've been vegetarian. When I first stopped eating meat, going to the parks was incredibly difficult for me. I think I ate fries every single meal the first time I went. Fries and pasta, like that's all I could find. And I had to alter things on the menu. I had to ask for like an allergy menu. The extent that I had to go to just not eat meat, which is not an uncommon dietary request.
Definitely not.
Now I can find something at every single restaurant without altering it at all.
And they're delicious.
Yeah, and they're good. They're not just like a salad
Yeah.
at every place. They're really good, new, exciting dishes, just like the dishes with meat. There's actually a plant-based menu guide for Magic Kingdom out. Hopefully they'll have one for all of the parks soon. We'll put a link to that as well on Facebook.
Yeah, when I saw that the other day, I was just like, yes. I mean, I eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian, but I think it's awesome that they are providing that now. This past trip when I went in March, anytime that we went to a quick service restaurant and if they had one of the vegan burgers, that's what I got, because I do like to try out vegetarian and vegan options. I can't have dairy, so it's really easy for me to just be like, oh yeah, well just give me that vegetarian vegan thing, because that's totally fine and it sounds really good. And every burger I had a burger at the ABC Commissary and a burger at Pecos Bills. Yeah, there's those options there that weren't there even 2 or 3 years ago, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we're not even talking about like during our program or in the early 2000s. I'm talking 2017 trips. I had no choices. I had nothing that I could choose to eat but a salad. So I ate salad and French fries. Now, it's hard for me to choose because I'll go to a table service restaurant and be able to pick 4 or 5 things off the menu. And if it's not a vegetarian dish, it's much more accessible now to make it vegetarian. They offer a tofu replacement for just about every protein or just some sort of easy substitution. Beyond that, though, they also have a goal to, in the US, they're already meeting this goal, but all advertisements on Disney-owned online destinations targeted for kids or families feature food that meets nutritional guidelines, not junk food, not garbage, things that are nutritionist recommended. Their goal for 2020 is to do that globally.
Nice.
That's so awesome, and something that I wouldn't have even thought about. The advertising direction, you're influencing so many people through your advertisements, even if people don't realize that they're doing it. Like that is always there.
Yeah, this report is very aptly named. It's called the Corporate Social Responsibility Report. And they have a responsibility to not promote these things that are bad for people and bad for the environment because they have a big influence.
Yeah.
And food is important. Like, if somebody's going to see, like, a picture of food, they're like, oh, where's that at? I got to find that. And they're probably going to go and look for it when they're there.
All that information you guys can find on that 2018 Corporate Social Responsibility Report. We will link that on our social media, so you guys can go check that out. It's got a lot more in-depth information and details, percentages, and all kinds of. If you're a stats nerd, go check that out. You'll really like that. Another big thing that Disney's done, though, to be more, I guess, sustainable, really, is solar farms. They have 2 solar farms on Walt Disney World property. And I know we're talking a lot about Walt Disney World. It's because it's the biggest Disney property. And so it's the biggest source of waste and consumption. So they're trying to get these programs in place at Walt Disney World and potentially put those programs in some of the other parks.
I was telling, I went camping this past weekend with my husband and all of our friends, and my husband and all of our friends are engineers, so they are very smart. And I was explaining this new solar farm that has been opened, and they were just like, "Are you serious? What's the watts and what's the blah 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 and what's the this?" And I was like, "I don't have all those facts, but I do have these 2 tiny facts," and I let them know those, and they were just like, "That's amazing. That's awesome." So
I've got those facts.
I'll let Katie present all those facts, but it impressed a bunch of engineering nerds. So I felt pretty cool to be like, yeah, this is what my Disney is doing to like these like engineering guys. It was kind of fun.
So I'm not an engineer. These facts don't mean a whole lot to me, but for our listeners, if you guys are interested in this, there are 2 solar farms at Walt Disney World. There's one that opened in 2016. It is located near Epcot. It's the one in the shape of a Mickey head, so it's super cute. Those solar panels don't move. I don't have the stats on how much that produces or how many panels, but it was the first one that Disney put on property with the goal of creating this larger farm that could eventually begin to power this whole property.
Whoa.
The new solar farm that was opened this month is a 270-acre farm. It's twice the size of Magic Kingdom.
That's really cool.
And this isn't something that's happening in the future. It's generating power, and it is being used right now to power the Disney parks. This isn't some future goal. This is something that they're doing today. So on a perfect sunny day, this solar farm can power up to 25% of Walt Disney World.
Dang.
If any of our listeners haven't been to Walt Disney World and have only been to Disneyland or some of the other parks, that is a tiny portion of the size of the Walt Disney World property. When you're talking about the property, you're talking about acres and acres, square miles of property.
4 parks, 2 water parks, 1 downtown shopping area, countless resorts, countless restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
It's lighting all of those
The
parking
amount
lots.
of power
Yes.
that property needs to run is just astronomical. And then the fact that they have opened up this solar farm to power 25% is awesome. And I can only see that getting bigger and bigger and them adding more solar, which is awesome because, I mean, you get your afternoon, thunderstorm. I was going to say snow shower, but that's not what you get in Florida. You get your
No,
you
not
get your
there.
afternoon thunderstorm, but otherwise, I mean, it's pretty sunny down there. So it's
Even then, the thunderstorms don't have a ton of
Yeah.
clouds. Like, it's still sunny.
yeah. So you're still it's
Yeah.
fantastic, and I'm so impressed.
Yeah, this is in the middle of Florida. It is sunny almost
The
all the
Sunshine
time.
State.
Yeah, it is the Sunshine State. Sunshine State.
Sally tells details by the TV show.
So these panels at this solar farm, they move to follow the sun, unlike the 2016 Mickey shaped solar farm. So in the morning, they're facing one way, they're straight up at noon, and they're facing the opposite way in the evening. They follow the sun all day long. They collect that solar energy from sun up to sundown. There are 500,000 panels, 500,000 panels, and they produce 120 watts each. I don't really know what that means, but apparently it's a very impressive number.
Kelly, ask Jerry, is it an impressive number?
I told him it's 50 megawatts is what the whole thing is putting out, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Is that a lot?" He's like, "Yeah, that's a lot." And I was like, "Oh, then great, that's fantastic."
Fantastic.
Shout out to Disney for impressing those engineer nerds.
Yeah. At one point, there were 400 employees working on building this solar power farm, which is it's a lot.
And now they're all working on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. Yup. So these are just some of the ways that the Walt Disney Company is working towards conservation. But these are a lot of numbers. This is a lot of facts and information. So how can we relate that to the parks and how we see this in the parks? Well, the easiest way to see it is in Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is essentially a zoo. Whether you love zoos or hate zoos, they serve a purpose. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I promise I'm not going to get on my soapbox.
You sure
can
about
put,
that?
Like 1 foot on your soapbox. I think that's fine.
Okay, 1 foot's on my soapbox. I got permission. There are many different types of zoos. There are small zoos to larger zoos to Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is an AZA accredited zoo. What AZA is the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. This is a governing body that has a set of very strict rules that a zoo must meet, very strict guidelines that they absolutely must meet in order to receive this accreditation. It's the highest honor you can receive in the zoo world. Basically, it means that this zoo knows what it's doing. It's got its shit together. It's doing things correctly. So if you're one of those people who does doubt the purpose of zoos and doesn't like to see animals, quote, in cages, look for AZA zoos. Support those zoos. These are zoos that, for the most part, are going to have naturalistic habitats, and they're going to be working towards make these endangered species thrive. There is an international union for the conservation of nature. This ICUN posts a red list. What the red list is basically determines what animals are endangered and to what levels. So when you hear endangered or critically endangered or threatened, this is the governing body that decides what that means. When an animal is critically endangered, it means that if we don't step in and do something, they are going to disappear. Your children are never going to be able to see them, which is scary because there are so many critically endangered species. So let's just talk about a couple of the ones that we see at Animal Kingdom and what Disney is doing to bring some of these animals back from the brink of extinction. My personal favorite animal and the animal I'm most passionate about is gorillas. Anybody who knows me knows I'm going to talk your ear off all day about gorillas. So I'm not going to do that today. But I am going to talk about what Disney is doing to help gorillas. They are a critically endangered species. They live in the rainforest of Africa. And they are being poached. Their land is being taken away. Basically, the same thing that's happening to every critically endangered species. Humans are crap. And we're killing our planet, and we are pushing our species to the brink of extinction. So what can we do? We have to step in and help them. So Disney participates in SSPs. What SSPs are species survival plans, which is exactly what it sounds like. These are plans laid out by experts who essentially decide what we can do to make this population that's in captivity thrive. So gorillas in Animal Kingdom, most guests don't see any of this, and that's okay. It's all a behind the scenes thing. But the point is, next time you go and you see these gorillas, you see these tigers that are there, another critically endangered species, just think about the things that are going on behind the scenes that you don't see as a guest.
They're there for a purpose. It's not just so humans can come press their faces against the glass and look at these animals. It's
Which we can do. It's fun. Those gorilla babies are real cute.
Yeah, I know that we, especially when I'm with you, Katie, I know that we spend a lot of time watching those gorillas, and that's totally fine. Yeah, like you were saying, the behind the scenes stuff that guests never will see. They just see that animal behind the glass, and they're like, "Oh, look at that!" But they don't understand that they're there to be protected and to hopefully continue having those animals around. Tigers are one of my most favorite animals. I've loved them since I was a child. I was really obsessed with them as a child. So, yeah, one of my favorite things to do at Animal Kingdom is go to the Maharaja Jungle Trek and walk through there and peek at all the tigers.
And if you're interested in learning more about the conservation of species that Animal Kingdom participates in, talk to some of those guides that are on those nature trails. Those the Maharaj Trail and
Gorilla
I forget
Falls.
what the other one's called. The Gorilla Trail.
It's Gorilla Falls.
Gorilla Falls. Yeah, there we go. I just know it as go see my gorillas. But talk to them. They're super knowledgeable. They really want to share this information with you. Like, they're more than happy to talk about SSPs and the work that Animal Kingdom is doing to help this species out. Because if we don't step in and do something to correct the things that we caused in the first place, these animals are going to be extinct. So I'm glad you brought up tigers, Kelly, because I wanted to talk about tigers as an umbrella species.
What's an umbrella species, Katie?
Disney has a couple of umbrella species. These are species, you can look at them and tell how the rest of their ecosystem is doing by how they're thriving or not. So, for instance, when the tigers aren't doing well, it means that that entire system is not doing well. These are tigers. These are the predators at the top. If they aren't doing okay, something is wrong. There's actually somewhere at Disney that this lesson is being taught that maybe a lot of guests never really noticed.
Well, that's what Disney does best, right? They aim to entertain, and in doing so, in the back of your head, you're also being educated.
The super, super popular attraction, Flights of Passage,
Amazing.
obviously talks a lot about, you know, like the environment and like the impact of everything. In the attraction, they're talking about kind of coming back from that and coming back from like all this damage that was done. So it's obviously it's a parallel of the world we're living in now. They actually talk about umbrella species. They talk about these banshees as being an umbrella species. So next time you're in the queue, pay attention. In the line, there's a poster that has all the umbrella species of Pandora and all these keynote, I think they call them keystone species, that you can look at and see how the rest of that ecosystem
Yeah, I
is doing.
was going to ask, do you think the average everyday guest is going to make that connection between the lessons taught in Pandora and the real world? Like, do you see people understanding that and taking the time to interact with the big robot guy and understand that the entire area of Pandora is set up to show a recovering ecosystem? Do you think people understand that?
Ideally, I would love that people understood that. Realistically, no. I think people are thinking this is a cool
Okay.
fantasy world. But like we were talking about earlier with, like we were talking about Joe Rohde talking about all of these subliminal things in Animal Kingdom that point towards recycling and reducing and reusing, but that don't like just say it
Mhm.
outright in your face. I think that they're going to get that message just by being in that world and being immersed in that subliminally.
Yeah, I'd hope
I
so
hope.
too.
That's my hope.
Like, I bet there are a lot of people who have ridden Flight of Passage, and as you're talking about umbrella species, are going, yeah, that sounds familiar. I think I've heard of that. And they've probably heard of it in the queue for Flights of Passage, if not in school.
In my perfect little world, I have.
Yeah, if you take the time to look around Pandora, anything that is man-made or human-made that was brought to that planet has been reclaimed by the planet. The gift shop looked very industrial, and now there's plants growing on it. There's symbols from the Na'vi, and they're like instruments and tools all over it. And same with the queue for Flight of Passage. You start and you go through this mountain, and then you go into like the lab and everything, but you can see where that ecosystem has started taking back what was destroyed.
As another great way to explore what is going on in Pandora is, if you're there, to pull up your phone and open up the Disney Play app, and they have an activity in Pandora where you can like scan plant life and see like cracks on the ground and figure out like what is going on in the ecosystem, and it tells you a little bit about what you're looking at and how it's like how the environment is being influenced. It is being
I wish my phone
impacted.
wasn't nearly dead every time that I was over there. I never got
I
to play
know,
that.
right?
I never got to do that app because
I need to buy like 10 power
Yeah.
banks so I can do all of the games on the Play app. So outside of Pandora, there are other ways to learn about planet Earth. And one of my favorites is joining the Wilderness Explorers. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Ah! The wilderness must be explored. Yeah. So when you can visit any of the Wilderness Explorer cast members around the park and pick up your own guide, and you can join and get your own membership card that says, I, Stephanie, pledge that I will uphold the Wilderness Explorer's motto. A wilderness explorer is a friend to all, be it plants or fish or a tiny mole. And then you can go all over the park, and there are, let me see, this is an older version, 31 badges that you can earn by going around Animal Kingdom. So that means 31 different lessons you can learn about plants, the environment, nature, all things Mother Earth, which is awesome.
I would love to go and do that as adults whenever we go on our next trip together, because I have never yet done a wilderness explorer.
It is definitely
book.
an all day thing. If you try to do the whole book in a day, yeah, you're gonna be doing it all day.
But are you mad about it?
No, not at all. I'm not complaining. just informing our listeners.
I mean, I would be
I
fine.
have a funny little
day.
anecdote about the Wilderness Explorers thing. The last trip that I was on, my niece, she was all about it. She's all about collecting things. So for her to have this, she's 5 years old. She went through, she got everything that she needed, all 31 stickers or whatever you're supposed to get. And then she dropped the book in the toilets.
Oh my God! Oh no!
So I think they were able to dry it out. It was like before she used the toilet. So I think they were able to dry it
thank
out. But it was
God.
just, it was like nearing the end of the day. She had gotten everything. She was so excited because she collected everything.
Oh my
And then she dropped it in the
goodness.
toilet.
Oh my gosh.
So whether you're spending all day watching gorillas at Animal Kingdom like I am, or becoming a wilderness explorer like Kelly's niece, there are plenty of conservation education opportunities while you're at Animal Kingdom. But there are also some opportunities while you're at the other parks and ways that we can see the effort Disney's making for conservation. So let's talk about some of the other parks and talk about some of the ways that you can see that love and that conservation and that sustainability in those parks. Because Animal Kingdom, it's easy. You walk inside, it's hitting you in the face. But some of these other parks are a little more subtle. That doesn't really fit into the theme of, Fantasyland and Future World. And I mean, I guess it would fit in Future World.
It is our future. We have to deal with it.
Yeah, it is our future world. Yeah. So Disney has rolled out the reusable the reusable totes over plastic bags. They do still have plastic bags, but they are working towards eliminating those in the parks completely. I don't know if you guys have seen these reusable bags since they've rolled them out.
Love them.
They're so cute. Disney also has wooden gift cards. Did you guys
I
know
didn't
that?
know that.
Nope.
I did not know that until I was doing some further research for this episode. And yeah, apparently they had it's not something that they're like, oh, use these wooden gift cards, but it's an option over the plastic gift cards. So if you want to opt for a non-plastic.
So I guess another thing we've seen Disney do that kind of cuts back on waste would be to replace their FastPass system with FastPass Plus, because I would imagine that FastPass was wasting a lot of paper and ink, and now you can do it all digitally on your phone. I mean, I'm sure they're printing less maps now that people can pull up a map right on their smartphone, and they can use their magic bands to scan in instead of getting like room keys. I think those magic bands are probably cutting down on a lot of waste property wide.
And if
Yeah,
you
I'd agree.
reuse your magic bands, or you buy the special ones and then reuse them, for visits in the future, you're cutting down on that waste of the material that the magic band's made out of. Because you can refuse when you book a new resort stay, you can refuse a new set of magic bands.
You
being
can?
sent to you.
I did not know that.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that kind of goes into what I want to talk about. And so we've talked about what Disney's been doing, but I want to talk about what we can do, how we can play our part in being responsible tourists. And I'm a flight attendant, so I travel a lot. And after that trip to Bali, where I was swimming with trash, I've been thinking a lot about how I can be a more responsible tourist. And so reusing magic bands is definitely a big one. I mean, I'm guilty. I like to get a new color every time I go and collect a set so I can coordinate with my outfits and whatnot. But now I've got every color, and I just bought an annual pass, and they want me to pick I can pick a new magic band to be sent to me. And I'm like, I don't need one. And so by refusing to get one, I can save some plastic.
Is there a spot when you go and pick your color or whatever?
Yes.
Is that where you say
Yeah,
I don't
so
need
when you
another
go to
one?
pick your color, it just has an option that says I don't need a magic band, or I already have a magic band.
Yeah,
and you just click that, and you can link that magic band onto your stay. You can either do it when you get there, or there's a way to do it on the app as well.
Yeah, your magic bands don't go bad.
Yeah,
even
they're linked
old
to your
school
app.
version edition 1 magic bands still work. So you can always bring those back to the parks with you. Another one of my favorite things to reuse is the refillable mugs. I don't often buy them when I stay at the resorts because they're kind of expensive. But if they're included in my dining plan, or if I've just had them for 10 years, that's all we use in this house to drink our coffee. Is they're still good coffee mugs after your Disney vacation.
Oh yeah. That's what I put my tea in every single morning before work, is a Disney coffee mug, because it's got that handle. I can walk around and do all my opening duties and check on all my animals with my coffee in my hand and like 14 other things in my hand, because I can hang on to that handle with my pinky.
They're microwave safe. They're dishwasher safe.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I like to try to reuse my reusable mugs as much as possible.
yeah.
Along with bringing, if I am not bringing a mug, I'll bring like a reusable water bottle and fill it up at the water fountains. But one of my new favorite things that I have is like a steel straw.
Yes.
I bought it on my trip to Sri Lanka. Shout out to One Life Travel. They sold us reusable straws when we were there, and I was like, oh, I don't know how often I'm going to use this. I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. And I feel really cool being like, when I order like a drink and they want to give you a straw, and I'm like, oh, I don't need a straw. It's okay. I'm saving the planet. I don't say that, but I think it. And it's, yeah, they're like, you can get them all over Amazon or online for a couple of bucks. And you can like bring your own straw to the parks, because actually they just went like completely paper straws, I think, as of yesterday.
This Earth Day week, they went complete paper
Yeah.
straws to eliminate all those terrible tiny pieces of single-use plastics.
But if you want to go a step further and turn down some paper straws, you're carrying around a bag with you anyway. Just stick a little straw in there. I guess the next thing on my list would be to seek out proper trash receptacles. So if you are getting those paper cups, or you are buying snacks that come in some sort of garbage container, you can seek out proper recycling bins and make sure you're using those correctly. I know when we were on our program, it shocked me how few recycling bins there were, but I think in recent years, Disney's got really good about putting a recycling bin right next to a trash can. So it's easy to make the right choice.
One of the things that they taught us in our traditions class was the story of Walt and the trash cans. Walt, when opening Disneyland, ate I believe it was a hot dog, picked up a hot dog, ate it, and when he was done eating it, I think it was 20 feet, crumpled up his paper and said, there should be a trash can every 20 feet in this park, so that no one ever has to find a trash can to throw away the trash, because Walt wanted his parks clean and pristine.
And they very often look very cute and themed to wherever they're at. So
yes, they do.
Pay attention to that.
And if you ever want to know what they all look like, Kelly's got a whole album.
So one more thing that we've seen that happening at the resorts is they've been taking out those tiny toiletry bottles in the restrooms and installing like built-in shampoo, conditioner, and shower gel consoles, which again, at first when it happened, stirred a little controversy, and people were like, what do they think? I'm going to steal all the toiletries? Yes, probably.
I have a basket of those as well. Right under my magic bands is a basket of my toiletries that I've taken from hotels, Disney hotels.
And so with lots and lots of guests doing that, it's wasting a lot of plastic. So yes, I'm sure they're trying to like save profits and not supplying all of these rooms with toiletries that are just going to go missing if they're not being used during their stays. So while those big permanent shampoo containers are cutting down on plastic and making it making your hotel stay more sustainable, if those aren't to your liking and you are planning on bringing your own toiletries anyway, another tip is to not buy the travel size toiletries, because that's also a waste of plastic. When you already have a shampoo and conditioner that you're used to and you use every day and you love, you can put those in reusable travel size containers if you're traveling carry-on size, or just bring the whole big bottle with you if you're checking a big bag and save on some plastic that way.
That is a good tip. I wouldn't have thought about that, but yeah, using the recyclable travel toiletries.
You can buy little sets at Walmart, Target, pretty much anywhere. They come in a quart-sized bag with a zip top. This is speaking to checked carry-on luggage. They're already bottles portioned out, empty bottles that you can refill with your stuff and continue refilling. But it's already in that quart-sized bag. It's ready to go through TSA, and you're good to go. And you're buying that one time and refilling it instead of buying a new little tiny bottle every time.
So there are a lot of things that you can do in the parks to be a responsible tourist and continue Disney's effort of conservation and sustainability, and doing good for our environment, for our planet. But you can take that home as well. There's plenty that you can do at home to conserve your planet, conserve energy, and get rid of those single-use plastics. One of the best ways we've already talked about is to use those reusable bags. Don't use those plastic bags when you go grocery shopping. Those are one of the biggest pollutants out there right now. Use those reusable bags. You can use them again and again. You can carry more groceries in them, which is less trips from the car inside, which is definitely
I am
a
such a
plus.
one-trip person. I load up my arms with those reusable bags, and they do not break, and you just carry them into your house. One trip. That's it.
You and me both,
Yeah.
sister. You can also opt for paper when it's possible over plastic, glass, things like that. If you have a grocery store with a bulk section, take glass bottles, glass jars that you had pasta sauce in and pickles in, and fill those up with oats and grains and things like that, and get rid of those plastic containers that they would usually come in.
Something we've done recently in my household is we've actually gotten the mesh bags that like you can buy lemons or oranges in at the grocery store, and they come in those mesh bags, which are plastic, but instead of throwing those mesh bags away, we use those as our produce bags now, so that we're not getting those like your traditional plastic produce bags. So we're reusing those mesh bags that the produce already comes in. It's
That's
no
a great
brainer
tip.
there, and they're free with
Yeah.
your fruit that you're buying.
Another thing you can do at home is to shower for less time. Water is a huge source of waste. It's really hard to shower for less time. I get it. I love my showers. So I play music when I'm in the shower, and I have a rule for myself that I must be out within 3 songs. 2 is even better. So give that a try for a week. Like, you'll really learn that like you can definitely shower in less time. You can definitely get whatever you need done in less time, and you're going to be using less water when you do it.
That's a good idea. That's going to be real hard for me, but
Mhm.
I think I'll try that tomorrow. Tomorrow is a hair washing day, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, 3 songs is usually my 4 if I have to shave my legs, but usually 3.
Yeah. Another great way that you can save some water at home is to try going meatless 1 or 2 times a week, or even adopt a vegetarian diet if that's something that sounds good to you. That really reduces water consumption and greenhouse emissions. So go meatless on Mondays, join the club, post on Instagram, and help the world at the same time.
How does going meatless reduce water consumption?
It takes 2,500 gallons to produce 1 pound of beef.
Huh.
Yeah, versus like 250 to produce I don't know how much, but vegetables. An equivalent amount of vegetables. So the best way to eliminate some of the consumption and overuse is to reduce. So reduce your use of plastic, reduce your use of water, but anything that you can't reduce, recycle. If you can't use it, donate to someone who maybe can. If it's just not savable, it's something that is really truly garbage, find a way to recycle it. Before we recycled, we were taking the trash out almost daily, and now we take it out about once a week. So that's how much plastic and tin and paper that we were throwing away that could have been recycled.
Yeah, that's something I haven't thought about that. We recycle. I live in Arizona, which has a really good recycling program. We actually have our recycling picked up every Tuesday, except for glass. That's something I didn't even think about. We hardly take our trash out. We maybe take our trash out once a week.
And if you want to cut it down on that trash even more, compost your vegetable scraps when you're cooking. If it is not meat or dairy, you can compost it pretty much. So get a composter, create that. It's great for your garden. You can then grow your own vegetables, and that cuts down on even more waste and helps your wallet a little bit, and gardening is just super fun. You can also take some of the principles that you are using in the parks with those reusable mugs and cups and do that at home. Take a cup everywhere with you, take a straw everywhere with you. You can even get reusable silverware and put that in a bag, put that in your car. And if you get to a restaurant that only has plastic silverware for you to use, you can deny that and use those reusable ones, and you're saving that single-use plastic. Really, there are 1,000 ways that you can bring conservation into your home. It's not practical for everybody to do every one of these. You would literally be thinking about how you can reduce, reuse, and recycle from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. And it's exhausting. So maybe just pick one. Do that for a week or two, and then maybe add in another. It's all what works with your lifestyle.
Yeah, I know that my big focus this year has been my clothing consumption and the places that I'm purchasing my clothing from. I worked at Forever 21 for about 3 years, I think, and was constantly buying clothes. And I'm trying this year to do nothing but thrift shopping, get all my clothes from the thrift stores, and but just paying attention to where your clothes are coming from makes a huge impact on not only the people who are making your clothes' life, but the impact that goes into producing those clothes, where that cotton, where those fabrics come from, is something that people kind of take for granted and don't really pay attention to. So just trying to pay attention to what you're consuming and reusing what you can. So that's what I'm working on this year. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Well, these are just some of the really great ways that the happiest place on earth is helping to protect Earth for future generations. You guys can live a greener life and help conserve our planet at home. Visit your local zoos, wildlife centers, and museums and educate yourselves and learn from other people. Ask questions. Find out the ways that you can make a contribution and the ways that these institutions are conserving the earth we share every day. When we know better, we can do better.
So please get in touch with us and let us know what you're doing to save planet this Earth Day.
Email us at spillingthemadtea@gmail.com.
And tweet us at spillingmadtea.
Follow us and interact with us on Instagram at spillingthemadtea and tag us in your conservation adventures. Thank you guys so much to everybody that's joined us so far. We appreciate each and every one of you. We appreciate your listens. We love interacting with you guys on social media. So we'll see you on the next birthday party. Happy Earth Day, guys.
Bye.
Happy Earth Day!